So we'll now move on to item 11 on our agenda, which is to consider approval of scope and contract amount amendments to the Delta Protection Commission through the DWR Interagency Agreement and DPC contract with M Cubed, both on the Delta Flood Risk Management Assessment District Feasibility Study. Eric.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a little background for Commission members on our Delta Flood Risk Management Assessment District Feasibility Study. The Commission in June of 2013 approved an interagency agreement with Department of Water Resources to conduct this feasibility study. The feasibility study was called out in the Economic Sustainability Plan. It is a recommendation in the Delta Plan. In January of 2015, the Commission approved an augmentation, or at least authorized your Executive Director to approve an augmentation to that interagency agreement, bringing the amount, almost doubling it to just under $500,000. And again, this is funding that Department of Water Resources provides to the Commission for the purposes of conducting this feasibility study. In March of 2015, the Commission approved the contract with a team led by the firm M Cubed, and again authorized your Executive Director to execute that contract. And the work began on this project in August 2013. I did provide a brief update earlier about some of the recent activity on this project. We're at a phase in this project now where the work is really proceeding at a rapid clip, and we expect there to be much activity on this in the coming months. I do intend to bring a fuller briefing to the Commission at the July 21st meeting to bring the entire Commission up to speed on this process. In the meantime, we're keeping close with the subcommittee consisting of Vice Chair Thompson and Commission members Ferrara, White, and Van Lobensel's. What I'm presenting to the Commission tonight is a request, a two-part request. One is to revise the interagency agreement with DWR to increase the amount of that interagency agreement by approximately $161,000 and to extend the deadline for that agreement by a handful of months. The second request is for the Commission to authorize your Executive Director to amend the contract with M Cubed to both add additional tasks to the contract, and this is something that we had a chance to visit with the subcommittee on just yesterday. Some of the beneficiaries analysis, work related to cost allocation, and ability to pay methodology. These are all proposed to be part of the M Cubed contract. Some of that is being backed out of the contract that the Arcadis firm has with the Delta Stewardship Council on the Delta Levy Investment Strategy, and some of this is new work. It should be noted that both the Levy Investment Strategy and our feasibility study are funded by the same entity, the Department of Water Resources, and so this is really just removing tasks from one effort and substituting them into ours. So the request is for a motion to approve to authorize your Executive Director to revise the interagency agreement with DWR and to amend the M Cubed contract. The contract amendment with M Cubed is approximately $141,000. $20,000 of that funding from DWR will go to the Commission to support our ongoing work on this effort. And Madam Chair and members of the Commission would be happy to answer any specific questions about this request. It was a unanimous recommendation from the subcommittee at its meeting yesterday, and I ask for your approval of this.
Thank you. Any commissioner questions or comments? Commissioner Ferguson?
Eric, just for clarification, how much has been spent or paid to M Cubed as of today?
The existing contract with M Cubed is for approximately $470,000.
475, 197.
And
So,
I think we're definitely more than halfway through that. I want to say perhaps 60 to 70% of the way through that existing contract.
so then you're asking for how much more to authorize? 160?
An additional $160,688. And again, to be clear, this would be amending our interagency agreement with the Department of Water Resources. I understand it's all public money, but it's not commission funds that would go toward this augmentation. It would be funding from DWR.
Okay.
And DWR asked us
Yeah,
to
DWR.
do this because the current process is missing a couple elements. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, DWR has been consulted throughout. They're supportive of this action. They understand that these additional actions that we're asking our M-Cube team to perform are critical for both the levy investment strategy as well as for the feasibility study. And so they are supportive of that, and we're seeking the Commission's endorsement and approval of this tonight.
I would
Thank
make
you.
a motion that we approve this item 11.
There's a motion by Commissioner Johnson to approve the item and second by Commissioner White. Commissioner Scriven, did you have a question or comment? In the microphone, please.
Is this money well spent?
Well, Eric, 'cause I was
Of
going to read from
course.
the staff report.
No, in all seriousness, yes, we believe it is. We're looking at this critically as well.
Well, from
Just because DWR is willing to provide it, we believe it's important that we're comfortable that it's going to perform actions that will aid the feasibility study and also be beneficial to the levy investment strategy, and we're certainly very interested in doing anything we can to make a better Delta levy investment strategy. So we do believe these are important steps to accomplish. We're very proud of our consultant team. We think they're brilliant and outstanding, and I think they've done a really good job of reaching out to Delta interests. So that's an added benefit of having it under the auspices of our team. The Arcadis team is very capable and talented as well, but we're always more interested in our ability to work directly with our consultant on some of these critical actions.
And Commissioner Scriven, in the staff report, if I can bring your attention, says there was an original opinion that there'd be close coordination between the Delta Flood Risk Management Assessment District feasibility study and the Delta Stewardship Council's Delta Levy Investment Strategy. There was an assumption that portions of the beneficiaries analysis, the cost allocation process, and the ability to pay methodology would be developed in the Delta Levy Investment Strategy, and that the results would be available for M-Cube to use in the DFRMAD feasibility study. And this essential information that was expected from the DLIS is not going to be available. And DWR and I think Eric's position from the Delta Protection Commission is that information would be extremely important to have through this process. So it's connecting a missing link so that both processes, both projects are comprehensive.
Thank you.
Any further, Commissioner Villegas?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you for that clarification. That helps a lot. So I know they've spent 60 to 70%. I know sometimes these projects you kind of front end or back end the bulk of the cost depending on what the work is, and so but typically you have some sort of milestones or a set of deliverables at certain intervals to make sure that we're not getting off track, because I've seen these contracts upside down very quickly, and I'm not saying that this one is one, but it would be very helpful given what we're being asked to do, which is to continue to spend money. I would prefer to see some sense from you or staff, whomever, that we are actually meeting those milestones, or that we're making progress, given that we've already spent 3/4 of the money and now we're asking for more. So it sounds like the subcommittee is comfortable with it, but I prefer at least knowing that we're reaching those milestones, whatever they've been identified, before we get too far out there.
No, I appreciate that, Commissioner Villegas, and I can confirm that we're meeting the milestones under our existing contract. Absolutely, we're on track and in a very good place with this work. And I'll just reiterate that these additional tasks really are in addition. It's not that the consultant came back to us and said, we need more money to do what we said we were going to do from the start. These are new items. They're new tasks that they were being asked to perform, either number one, because they weren't going to come out of our sister effort through the Delta Stewardship Council fast enough to be able to inform the work of the feasibility study, or in the case of the ability to pay methodology, the department asked us if our consultant would be willing to tackle that effort. Ability to pay is pretty critically important for our reclamation districts in the Delta. And again, I feel very comfortable and confident having our consultant, not just because they're our consultant, but I think they're really very capable and understand how to perform this work, to have them performing it. So.
And you said you're coming back in July with you said a fuller or more detailed description of.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
I'm sorry, you said you were coming back in July anyhow with more descriptions of.
Well, to be clear, what we're proposing to do in July is to provide a very detailed briefing to the full commission on our progress on the feasibility study to date and where we intend to go with that project in the immediate future. I recognize that we've primarily been keeping up with the subcommittee, and even though I've provided reports through my executive director report about the progress, we haven't really had a lot of real detailed progress to date to spend a lot of time at the commission. That's changing with a workshop that we're going to be holding with our stakeholders next week. It'll continue with an additional workshop that will be conducted in June. So we're finally at the point where I feel like we've got we will be at the point in the next couple of months where we have some serious progress to report and would like to engage the full commission.
Commissioner White?
As a member of the subcommittee, I understand, since you haven't served on it, only a few of us have hesitation, and I look forward to a more full report here at the commission upcoming. But I will back up Eric and just say I've been extremely impressed with the consultants. They've been very thorough, very clear, very creative solutions to our challenges that our levees face. So I will just say that, as a subcommittee member, I feel very comfortable moving forward with this.
Call for the question.
And it should be noted that Commissioner White also attended the stakeholder workshop, so she went above and beyond the call, not just serving on the subcommittee, but participating in the really detailed nitty-gritty discussions on this. And we both appreciate that because we like all commission members to be involved, but especially based on her role with the State Transportation Agency, which is a real critical stakeholder in this process.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Johnson to authorize Executive Director to execute amendments to the interagency agreement with DWR and associated contract with M-Cube. There's a second by Commissioner White. Is there further commission comments or questions? I do not see any public speaker cards on this item, so we'll take call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.